Okay, good evening to all you fellow TIs individuals out there. Now, this message I want to point out, it's going to get very intense, but it is not by hate. One of the things you need to understand is that the enemy literally does nothing but basically all its actions, all its understanding when it comes to a narcissist is nothing but hate. And what the thing about it is, the narcissist is a very, very terrible type of individual. A very terrible type of individual in every sense of the word. Now, they want people to feel as bad as they feel bad. They want to bring people down just because they feel down. And they feel like every little bit of thing that a person has or person is entitled to them. These are very selfish people, no doubt. And they don't care if a person ends up killed over their BS. They don't. My greatest fear that I actually had came true when I started to understand that these people really do target even people who have kids. It's crazy. It's really crazy because it's just more and more that confirms my own situation to where my mom was being targeted. And the more and more I think, the more and more I start to understand that the only type of words that's coming from a gang stalker is poison. They'll use the excuse saying that this is to actually protect the community. But here's the thing. With this technology, I'm just curious, right? With the remote neural monitoring, the remote manipulation, the telepathic thought, the MK Ultra bullshit, and all that stuff that they've been doing this stuff to people, I want them to explain one thing to me. If their intent was ever to actually make this world safe, then why the fuck is there so much crime? Why are there people out with the fact? And yes, they are exposing this to everybody, by the way. Through the nano and stuff that they've been using, they've been exposing everybody to this. Everyone. And there's no and the thing is, like, they don't want people to make that connection, because if they start to realize that, then it's gonna really start to get even worse for them. There's already people who are getting pissed off about the vape trails and stuff that's going on. There's been constant complaints. There has been protests about it. And it's like the bastards will just keep doing it. But there is great fear there. There is a great fear. The one thing that will really, really piss them off is if they are facing up against the entire population, going up to the White House saying, "You better fucking stop this shit now." Now then, I wanted to get into this article. I want to point out I do not claim any I don't claim any copyright for this. Now, the thing about this is that, man, dude, I can't even believe that, there's a lot of TIs out there. There's a lot of TIs out there. I was going to go into a speech about that in my last vid, but it kind of cut out. They've been messing with my storage, as you can see at the top. Now, I don't have that much stuff on this phone. I barely got next to nothing on this phone at all. I got a few apps, but that's about it. And it's not really enough to really take a whole lot of space. So, dude, man, like this is a really dirty organization. These are some really, really, like I said, it's a mixture of different people involved in this. But some of these people were given false impressions about this, Some of them were given false impressions thinking that what they're doing is for the greater good. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not. The whole thing is basically pent up on control. These people who are working for this organization are narcissists. There are some narcissists. There are some people who are just desperate for money. There are some people who are just afraid of being targeted by this themselves. But you need to understand something here. There's evidence out there that they're pushing for RFID chips. You want to know what that is? For those who don't know what that is, if you don't know what that is a implanted chip. The chip is going to give them control over you. You want to know what's going to happen when they have control over you? Precisely, you won't be able to do jack crap when they have this control over you. You need to understand this. They won't have anything they won't have no type of way for them to ever have to pay you any kind of money for you to do their dirt. You want to know why? Because they'll just be able to control you to do it. That's it. They don't. Why should they have to pay you money when they could just control you like a robot? And understand, and some of these gang stalkers were giving things that a lot of the citizens don't even have access to. But here's the thing about that. Newsflash, they could take that away just like that. They've done it to people who've worked for them before. You've seen people come out who are whistleblowers who used to work for them. And you can't deny you haven't seen that shit. You can't. It's out there. It's proof. And I'm telling you right now, they will deny till they die, but there's fear within just about all of them. There's a reason why you should never give certain technology to a narcissist. And honestly, this gang stalking stuff, this electronic harassment is a perfect example of this. They get off from torturing people. They don't even care if it's even the child. They don't even care. They get off from torturing them, man. There's been scenarios to where they would literally harm a freaking defenseless animal just in order to literally fucking make a person feel bad. What kind of a person does something like that? And then they want to come out and say, "Oh, well, like, what we're doing is actually supposed to be for the greater good." Wow. Whenever I hear a gang stalker say some crap like that, and I already know, all of the TIs who actually went as far as to try to talk to their perps as far as a conversation and whatnot, when they say that shit, they know dang well that there's nothing good coming from that organization. They literally are targeting people who are aware due to fear of losing their power. Because they don't want everybody to wake up. Man, the coming days is coming up, man. It really is. We are in the final decades of whatever this is. And people need to understand, just as we do, life is just a trial. It's not something that goes on forever. And it's something that most people don't understand. Life was not meant to be eternal. It was never meant to be eternal. And you gotta understand, like, when it comes to eternal life, if it does exist, if it ever can exist, you need to understand this. As long as you're living, you can feel pain. As long as you're living, you can feel sadness. As long as you're living, you can be hurt in some type of way or another. There's famine, there's disease, there's sicknesses on all types of ways when it comes to this. Now, man, dude, there's a lot of these people who are truly behind this stuff. That you'll see them on the TV. You'll see them on the TV. You may even know them. You may have even met them. This is why a lot of people hide behind a mask. Even worse, they'll use their control, their power, and their connections to literally remote control somebody just to use them as a scapegoat. It's crazy, you know. Or even for some disgusting intent. One of my gang stalkers, man, ended up saying something that really, really disgusted me. But you know something? I'm not gonna say what it was, because if I did, they're just gonna most likely, say the shit anyway. They're just gonna say that crap anyway. I apologize for my swearing. I will try to not do that, but it's just that, man, dude, man, like this is just wow. Anyway, you can see this was posted on January 18th, 2016 by State of Nation. I want to point out I claim no copyright for this whatsoever. Without further ado, let's get into it. False flags are legal propaganda produced by the Department of Defense. 42 government admitted false flags. False flag, a government-sponsored staged event blamed on political enemy and used as a pretext to start a war or enact a draconian laws in the name of national security, physiologically warfare against citizens of the same government. United States of America target, United Kingdom, South Africa, Russia, and Canada, Israel, Indonesia, Colombia, Japan. I hate that that's going on in Japan. I love, I am a big anime fan when it comes right down to it. And they got some really good people from Japan, you know. And there was I don't know if people are aware, but there was a big incident to where there was an arson attempt at a anime studio to where they were where they make the anime and stuff like that, where they with all the artists and stuff that where they do all the acting, the voice acting and all that stuff at. There was a big freaking accident there a while ago. For those who don't know, Egypt, Germany, Ukraine, and Italy, man. ETK introductions, of course, everything that Hitler did was legal because his fascist government changed the laws before breaking them. Bush, Clinton, Bush the second, and Obama in particular have done the same thing. Read this brilliant article and weep. Our leaders have wrecked our country. They have invented legal justification for conducting treason against the U.S. Constitution as well as wholesome murder of innocent American citizens throughout organized gang stalking and other psyops. Information war, psychological warfare operations they now legally conduct against the domestic population. However, it's not legal. Madison v. Marbury, 1803, declared that all laws repugnant to the Constitution are null and void. Based on this legally binding standards, the National Defense Authorization Act, the U.S. Patriot Act, and innumerable recent laws and executive orders are all illegal. And by all legal standards, our selected leaders are criminals. I want to point out, I'm only reading the article as it's stated. These are not my words. It's the articles. Just want to point that out. False flag, a government-sponsored stage even blamed on political enemy and used as a pretext to start a war or enact draconian laws in the name of national security. Actually, this one thing I wanted to point out. There are people who know who the government elites are, and you gotta and the people who are that close to that are the only way you're gonna be able to find the exact people who know precisely who's behind all this BS. And honestly, I think plenty of people knew about this already. I'm just gonna go off and say it. When it comes down to this, you got look at Cat Williams' situation. He did a comedy skit about when he was talking about how they brought him in a mansion, and he actually dropped down a name, Professor Obi, right? He ended up dropping down that name. Now, I'm not gonna say what happened in there was true. I'm not gonna say it wasn't true, because I wasn't there. I didn't see what happened, but I seen what happened to this man, what happened to Cat Williams after as far as the video evidence that got shown. And there was several incidents of him being targeted as far as gaslighting and all that other stuff that happened. There was a lot of gaslighting that was going on. A lot of that stuff, man. A lot. But you got to understand, there are people who have been there, who have seen these people, and who know exactly who they are and what they're involved in. And it's those small, low-class people who are underneath the elites who are very well aware. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you, the people who are most likely responsible for all of this, you've seen them. You may not understand, you may not know, but I guarantee you have seen them. Whether it be on TV, through some type of press conference, through some type of live event, You've seen them. We've all have. But it's the fact that they hide behind a mask that makes it hard to actually know precisely who is responsible. But the information of their actions tends to leak out from time to time. I want everybody to understand that these with these chemtrails that they're putting down on all of us, this stuff is triggered to basically twist a person's both their morale, their state of mentality, and their sense of justice and their sense of and both their behavior as well. So you need to understand that technically, and I do mean like in the way of a sense that a lot of people have their own will being twisted against them, especially with this remote neural monitoring stuff. Considering that they're even going as far as to target kids with this, as messed up as it is, the fact that they're doing that, man, it's crazy. And I believe that the people who are most likely being targeted, like really, really badly, are people who they fear the most, especially all TIs, you know, especially all TIs, the people who they do this the most. It goes crazy. But I want to go ahead and finish this up. False flags, a government-sponsored stage, even blamed on political enemy and used as a pretext to start a war or enact draconian laws in the name of national security, psychological warfare against citizens of the same government. Terrorism is the best political weapon, for nothing drives people harder than a fear of sudden death. Adolf Hitler. 12 ways to recognize. You know, you see that stuff right there. That's letting you know we definitely got some Nazi influenced people in the government, man. Because I get that they're quoting that, but at the same time, the fact that like they would use methods like that and technology from the from the World War II era like that was from what the Nazis were using on their own people. That's pretty fucked up. 12 ways to recognize a BBG production by anonymous patriots. Why would the government support false flag events? This question would go through our minds every time we would see a new false flag event plastered all over the media. Like many of you, we would think it has to be real. Otherwise, the government and participants would be engaging in treason. But the narrative and the evidence never seem to match up. And unfortunately, it's because people are being paid off, evidence is being tampered with, and people are just being told to turn a blind eye due to threats and whatnot. There's a person who actually became a TI because he held on to a gang stalker's phone. And let me tell you, there's no telling what was on there, but the fact that they wanted it back that badly would tell you that there's some really incriminating evidence conducting towards their operations. Also, for most people who aren't aware, for people who are caught involved in this type of organization, it is organized crime. Here's the deal about this, right? For whatever reason, they started to do this, and it's usually over some really stupid stuff, some really petty stuff, and I mean like like the most pettiest thing you could think. You could have a nice pair of new looking shoes, and a person would be like, I don't like that person who's wearing who has those shoes, right? They would get like that, and they would go as far as setting up a whole fucking army to literally harass the crap out of you over something that damn small. That's the type of mindset these people have, man. They whatever when it comes to it, man, like when it comes to a certain person they can't stand, it's mostly due to jealousy of some way. It's all nothing but fucking jealousy. That's it. When it comes to a narcissist, the only type of words they speak out is poison, because it's only based off of hate. That's all they understand. It's nothing but hate. Every day they get out of bed and all they do is hate. They come up with it. They try to find any excuse to hate. They try to find any type of They literally investigate like that stuff like a private eye, just to try to have an excuse to hate. That's how bad it is. And you need to understand that don't ever allow them to bring you to their level, man. Don't ever allow them to bring you down to their level, because you know something, there's nothing there. There's absolutely nothing there, and that's why they're looking to take whatever they can from you, even if it's something that's small. Even if it's something that has little to no value, they will still seek to take that away from it, that away from you for psychological reasons, in order for them to exist. And you know something, it really is a situation to where it is a food based, it is a spiritual warfare. You know, it really is. It is technically them trying to sustain their own hunger, and they do this by literally terrorizing people. That's it. The only thing they want to do is literally talk about nothing but hatefulness. Why they hate something, why they want to hate something, and those excuses can most likely be BS most of the time. One That's why I started to tell myself, you know something, man, nothing good comes from listening to don't ever listen to a narcissist. Don't. And it's best if you familiarize yourself with the characteristics of a narcissist. But I'm getting a little bit I'm starting to ramble here, so let's continue. The question would go through our minds every time we would see a new falsehood. No, I've already read that. It even seemed that the official story that was fed to the news agencies was filled with holes on purpose. When 450 respondents showed up in San Bernardino, including FEMA, ATF, Homeland Security, FBI, DOD, and all local agencies within 14 minutes, and had their lawn chairs, coolers set up while most of them walked around aimlessly with no worries in the world. We couldn't take it anymore. We had always known that false flags usually precede severely military action, and we couldn't really imagine military action within the U.S. domestic borders, since the military is not empowered to act against its own citizens. Therefore, we decided to wake up and study in false flag phenomena. Don't presume to think this is just another conspiracy theory article. What you will read will chill you to the bone. We know this is a long article, but while you were sleeping, much has been done to destroy your country. You need to see the immense work that is being done behind your back to destroy your beloved country. And most important, when you get to the end of this article, we will have a citizen call to action. Now, I'm gonna leave this in the description because this thing is fairly long. They known to mess with my storage from time to time. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. But remember, I will leave the link to this in the description for you to read. But that doesn't mean that this video is over yet. It's far from over. I'm hitting like 23 minutes here, but I got a few more things I wanted to address. As far as TIs are concerned, man, we could pull together to make a settlement or a safe haven. Problem is, though, like you got to look up Waco, Texas, and stuff like that. That's the only problem. When you see what they did to that, that's the amount of hate that we're dealing with. People need to understand this is a situation to where there's so much hate out there that they don't want you to live your life freely. They don't want you to live your life to the point to where you're not being controlled. They want you to be aware. They just want you to think that you're in control, but in reality, they have done so much. The air has been polluted. I'm not even talking about by cars. I'm talking about by the dang on planes with the the chemtrails and shit. And that's been another way of how they've been polluting the water, how they've been polluting the food. And this is stuff that we both eat, drink, and bathe in. for years, ever since we were kids, ever since we were, even before we were born. When you're a fetus, before you're even born, you feed off the nutrients that that your mother is eating and drinking. You literally are being fed that. So it's not even just you being poisoned, it was the people from the past generation that were poisoned as well, since they started this. And it's all because some people paid pieces of paper, pieces of paper that have barely any value. This is I want people to understand. They find more value in pieces of paper that literally gets processed through a factory, inked from a factory, and turned into currency, or something that they want to call currency. What you need to understand is what the value of the real value of money. Let me tell you, you may think that money really has value, but with the ways that this society is, the way the laws are stated, if you, let's say you own a house, you own a car, right? And you owe an organization, sorry about that, you owe an organization a bunch of money, right? You're supposed to be able to own that, but how come they can still, like, that could just get taken away from you, as far as let's say even not even repossession, but collateral. That can be taken away as collateral. If you're paying a car note on a car, if you were to stop the payments, they would take the car away. It's the same thing with the house. If you can't pay the house note, they'll just take the house away. I don't know. I think the money that you spent, that you would have ended up that you spent on that house, the time that you stayed there, I think that I don't even think you get that money back. Now, here's the thing. You could plant a seed. You could make a tree. You can literally grow a tree. Now, the bark that they get from the tree gets turned into paper. That goes to a mint, to where they condition it, process it, and then turn it into something that they use as currency. There's a crap ton of trees. A person can make their own dang on tree. Not influencing a person to commit fraud here or counterfeit, not in any sense of the word. Not doing that. But I'm just basically stating just how simple this is, and how you got people who will go as far as to kidnap. You have people who go as far as to literally orchestrate an accident, and they will laugh. They will laugh at doing this. They will laugh at stealing something. They will do it knowing that they're doing it. Literally look at your reaction and then laugh at it. I'm not even sorry for saying this either. And I'm going to say it just as it is. It takes a really, really effed up person to literally go that far. It's even worse. It takes an even more effed up person to use remote neural monitoring, remote manipulation, to literally cause someone to incriminate themselves. A person who does that has no intention to have justice for anybody but themselves. And that justice has probably long since been voided due to their terrorism. Man, I've seen so much recklessness in my time. I have. And honestly, a lot of stuff in life has been very questionable. And honestly, I couldn't even make heads or tails out of it. It just didn't make any sense. A lot of people are being controlled, man, who aren't even aware. And from my own experience as being awake, being under, being attacked with remote monitoring and remote manipulation, the best way I can describe it is this: they have a way to hijack your body, basically, and it's very strange because it's like your will, it's like you're still there in some kind of way, but it's like your own will is restrained. It's like it's restrained in a kind of way. That's the best way I could describe it. And it's like your body is being hijacked and being used for whatever purpose they wanted to use it for through manipulation. Now, this is really fucked up because when they do this to you, there's pretty much anything can happen. And it's really a terrifying experience for people who haven't been through that. It is really a terrifying, dramatic experience, and they are doing this to everybody, mostly target individuals. But you got to understand, everybody, and I mean everybody, is breathing these vape trails in. This smart dust that they spray out there, all of this crap that they're doing, everybody is breathing that in. I've already left a list of links down as far as the previous videos that this stuff, the same stuff in that stuff has the ability to reconstruct itself. So when you breathe that stuff in, when you drink the water that contains that stuff, when you eat the crops, and I bet you they're spraying this stuff on the crops. I bet you they're going right down to these farms and they're paying these farmers off to spray their food with this nano tech. I almost guarantee you that's what they're spraying on there. I know the Amish, if you don't know, if you are looking to make your own homemade garden, I would recommend you to get your stuff from the Amish because they have natural stuff. They've got natural milk, they've got natural seeds and organic foods and all that stuff. Real organic foods without any sense of a doubt of BS in between. But they get harassed insanely by the health division. And I find that very suspicious how they get harassed, but not these farmers who have that stuff being sprayed in their crops. You know? I find that very questionable too. For all TIs who have cars, if you can, and if you don't, I will literally save the money that this channel makes if it ever does make any money, and I will literally send that cash for you to get a dash cam for both the front and the rear view of your car. I will literally do that because honestly, you need to understand when you can't be I get it. It is to get the evidence. It is. But at the same time, what you using your phone, and I'm not saying not to use, if you don't have a dash cam, I'm not telling you not to, but you need to at least be informed. They will, if you get into an accident and they see that there's evidence that you used your phone during that time, they will try to use that as an excuse, trying to claim that you were at fault for the accident. You really need to understand that they will use that against you. But you definitely want a rear and a front view dash cam when it comes to this. You really do. Have it to where it has removable drives, as far like you can have it like it has removable SD cards or something like that or whatever. Nothing too fancy, just something to catch the evidence down or whatever. Something that actually can record for a long periods of time. and have it to where you can also. And I've already stated this before. If you have an infected phone, do not put your SD card in there. And if you have to, in order to make an upload, this is what I recommend. Record and manage your data with devices. You can use a tablet to do this, but I repeat, do not ever put this on a network. Do not sign into no type of Wi-Fi. Do not sign into any type of internet network. This stuff, they cannot hack into your devices unless they either have physical contact with it to where they have enough time to manipulate and do their crap with it, or unless they are able to do that over the network. If they can't get your stuff over a network, then and they don't have physical contact with it, then they cannot hack it. There's no way they can. The only way they can do that is when it's on a network, and they do that from the background of your device. So that's just a little tip. That's how I manage my stuff. Unfortunately, it wasn't until I put the SD card into the phone to where they ended up deleting evidence that they didn't want out. So I'm gonna be better prepared for that. Luckily, the other evidence that I got was not on there. It's on something else. But that's just a clear example. Now, as far as anything else goes, I also recommend people to definitely get a screen recorder. Record the evidence of the hacking that's going on, because there's no telling what they're doing. There's absolutely no telling what they're doing, you know. But man, there's several times where I've actually thought about settling down before I knew about what was going on, you know. But seeing how things are now, I'm actually grateful that I didn't, because I wouldn't, if I had kids, man, I would not want them to suffer from this. And the fact that people can be remotely controlled, it's scary. It really is. It's really scary, because it's not only that you can't trust other people, it's another matter if you can't even trust yourself, knowing that your own body can be hijacked like that. I send both my prayers and love to all TIs out there, and I'm gonna do my damn hardest to actually do as best I can to keep providing useful information out there for you guys to fight this evil that has infected its way into so many lives. I want to leave this end this video off with a prayer. Most High, and I do mean the Most High, not no type of AI tech, no type of bastard behind no computer who's using radiational type hearing. No type of recording device of nothing that was based either made by the creation or a byproduct of the creation. I'm not speaking to any type of thing that has anything to do with the creation, and I'm not speaking to the creation itself. I speak to the Creator, the Creator of all, the Almighty God. And I want to pray that you continue watching over for all TIs, all of us. It's not easy, especially with your own will being remotely manipulated like this, you know? It's not easy. But I've seen enough to know that there is some hope out there. There is. And if there wasn't, then so many of us would not have survived for as long as we did. We wouldn't have found that there were other people like us going through this. We wouldn't have found any type of information to help us out in these dark times. And it's because of that that it shows that we truly have value, and it shows that those who are literally obsessed with both greed, lust, and and what's that word I'm looking for? And torture. It shows that it literally shows how we truly are, and they were attempting to blindfold us for so long, or at least trying to blindfold us from the start. Because you see a lot of that in the media, you see a lot of that in the school, even when you're growing up in the schools, you see that growing up as far as you're going through your peers and all that, and it's just crazy. We didn't start this war, but I believe one day we will finish it. I believe one day we will put an end to this somehow, some way, someday soon. This mess, this corruptive organization will end. Its power of whatever it has been doing for so long will be stripped away. It will be dismantled. It will be shut down for good. Hopefully, no type of other organization will be created as a result. But honestly, you never know in situations like this. But if there's one thing I do not ever want to be passed, is those RFID chips. That's something that we really can't afford to allow to be passed under no circumstances. With that said, once again, I pray that you continue looking out for all of us. I leave this video out with a prayer. I send both my love and support to all TIs out there. With that said, shalom, everybody. Shalom.